one sneaky ninja is picking up quick match wins across the globe. Everfest provided Benji with the tools to end a careless opponent on the spot, but it also made his strategy predictable. In Flesh and Blood, knowledge is power, and knowing what Benji is up to is usually enough to defend against the one-turn kill and win the game. Let's dive in. Benji is a young hero with 17 health and 2 abilities. The first one is where most of his power is. All attack actions with power 2 or less cannot be defended from hand. This does not apply to weapons, and defending from arsenal or with armor is fair game. Keep that last bit in mind. His second ability brings a bit of anti-synergy to Benji. After an attack action hits, the next attack has 1 more power. It's fine when applied to the next weapon attack, but once a regular attack action goes to 3 power or more, it can be defended from hand. Benji's first ability only cares about the current power of the attack, not its base power. Benji's strategy involves defensive play while chipping away at the opponent's health and armor with small attacks. Once he sees Spring Tidings, the new card, he'll look to break Mask of the Pouncing Lynx to fetch the second copy and threaten a long combat chain of small, unblockable ninja attacks. It is important for this turn to kill the opponent, as there is a downside to the opponent being unable to defend, as they keep cards in their hand to hit back. That is also why Benji's turn-to-turn trades aren't as efficient. He will sneak damage through, but the opponent will have more cards and more damage to return. And unlike Benji's small ninja attacks, other decks choose cards for their high power, and they will quickly pressure Benji's low health. Spring Tidings is a Benji specialization. It has a cost of 0, pitches for 2, attacks for 2 with go again, and defense for 3. If it hits, it draws a card for every attack that preceded it with base power 2 or lower. From a 4-card hand and arsenal, the ceiling is drawing 4 cards. If those drawn cards are 3 attacks and another Tidings, the second Spring Tidings could draw as much as 8 cards. If all those are attacks, we're talking about the turn that could deal 34 damage that cannot be defended with cards from hand, thanks to Benji's ability. Hoping to see both Tidings in a format as fast as Blitz isn't reliable, and that's where another shiny new toy from Everfest comes in. Mask of the Pouncing Lynx defends for 2 and has an amazing tutor ability. If an attack action hits, the mask can be destroyed to banish any attack action with 2 or less power from the deck, and it can be played this turn. Of course, Spring Tidings is the only card Benji will want to grab in most scenarios. To support Spring Tidings, most of the deck will consist of 1 or 2 power ninja attacks. Some will have go again, but only defend for 2. Some will defend for 3, but have no go again. What they will have is the keyword combo, which synergizes with Benji's leg equipment, Breeze Rider boots. They defend for 1 with Battle Worn, and when a ninja attack hits, they can be broken to give all combo attacks go again, including the attack that hit. Knowing all this, it's easy to imagine how the combo gets rolling, and even easier to imagine how to stop it. Just defend against both Tidings with armor. Of course, Benji won't let you have it that easy. His deck will pack some attack reactions to push Spring Tidings through in a Blitz meta where many decks opted out of defense reactions. Ancestral Empowerment is a guaranteed inclusion, while Razor Reflex and Lunging Press are highly likely. West of the First Fist is a common piece of equipment to provide resources for the Razors on the big turn. Benji cannot go overboard with attack reactions, because once he sees Spring Tidings, every attack reaction in his hand is 1 less card drawn from Spring Tidings. Similarly, Benji cannot opt for many high-power disruptive attacks that force armor, such as Command and Conquer and Red Snatch. In fact, most builds won't play a single such card because they're detrimental to the combo turn. Now we know all the puzzle pieces. How do we stop Benji from killing us? Aside from the obvious answer of kill him first, the solution lies in having armor and defense reactions. The more, the merrier. Not every deck runs defense reactions though, and not every class has access to a large suit of armor. In some, it's just really expensive. But luckily there is a budget solution to all these issues hiding in Monarch's Ironhide equipment. I suggest running 3 of them and 1 battle-worn piece, for a total of 7 armor to defend against the combo. Neither armor nor defense reactions should be used to prevent small attacks, not on the combo turn, unless you are actually going to apply so much pressure to Benji that he won't be able to hit back at all for the rest of the game. If you see a defense reaction, put it into the arsenal, and let it stay there until Benji goes for the combo. Typically, Benji will opt to go first, to push as much damage as possible. Some attacks you won't be able to block, and that's fine, but remember Benji's ability doesn't work on weapons. If he weaves in some Kodachis turn 1, use the opportunity to defend from hand. That 1 health could make all the difference later. Also remember you can defend an attack from hand if Benji's ability pushes it to 3 power. Afterwards, he'll assume a defensive playstyle, mostly defending with all the combo attacks that defend for 3. Sacrificing a bit of health here and there to throw out a few attacks that threaten armor, such as Blue Snatch. When first Spring Tidings or an attack reaction appear, Benji will arsenal them and wait for the other piece. Once those are both secured, he'll tank whatever damage you have and go for the combo. Let's go over a couple of blocking scenarios you should consider after the initial attacks hit, equipment is cracked, and it all comes down to Spring Tidings and unknown cards in hand. 4 attacks are on the chain, and Spring Tidings are played from Banish, 1 unknown in hand. This one is easy. If that unknown in hand or arsenal is an attack reaction, the most it can buff Spring Tidings for is 3 in case of Razor Reflex, so defend for 5 with armor. If it's not an attack reaction, but the second Spring Tidings instead, you still have 1 piece of Ironhide to fully defend it. 3 attacks are on the chain, and Spring Tidings are played from Banish, 2 unknowns in hand. Here we have to establish the risks. If the first Spring Tidings hit, Benji will draw 3 cards from the effect. If we fully defend the first one, but the second Spring Tidings hit, Benji will draw 4 cards. In case we cannot overblock both to defend from attack reactions, it is less harmful to have a risky exact block on the first one and then stuff the second one. It is a difference of only 2 damage, but every bit counts in flesh and blood. What you should do is defend 4 on the first Tidings, 3 on the second. This protects from a possible double 1 power buff on the first Tidings, while still leaving enough armor to cover a single buff on the second. It remains exposed to Razor Reflex though, which will snowball terribly out of control if Benji draws into more attack reactions. A route you can take if you have the health to spare is exact block on the first Tidings and accept you're taking between 7 and 9 damage from the cards it draws, but then defend 5 against the second one to make sure 9 is the damage ceiling. This would put Benji's damage total for the turn at 15, so if you manage to keep 16 or more health beforehand, you'll be fine. 2 attacks are on the chain, and Spring Tidings are played from Banish, 3 unknowns in hand. With this, you can bet your opponent has an attack reaction or 2 up their sleeve, and fully preventing both Tidings from hitting is impossible. Let the first one hit and draw them 2 cards, then use all armor to defend the second. Defending for 7 is safe from Razor Reflex and Ancestral Empowerment, throwing into another Empowerment or Lunging Press, and that should put a stop to their turn. You'll be fine as long as you're above 14 health at the start of the turn, and Benji cannot attack react to kill you before the second Tidings. If you have a defense reaction in hand or arsenal in any of these scenarios, defend for exact and react appropriately on the first Tidings, then overblock with armor on the second Tidings if there are still unknowns. And that's it. Bring some heavy armor pieces, apply as much pressure as you can, and mind your blocks when Benji finally decides to combo. Don't waste the armor, and when the big turn comes, assume Benji has access to 2 Spring Tidings and some attack reaction. It should save you from some unnecessary losses.